Terrell Thomas, TheseUrbanTimes, and on this edition of Pull Up a Chair, I'm sitting with a gentleman right here from the Atlanta area, an Atlanta native. He's got a lot of things in store, and we want our audience to get a feel of who you are as a man, who you are as an artist, so they can learn a lot more about your artistry and some of the great things that you have in store for the year of 2022. Brother by the name of Lokeyx, how you feel today, good sir?
Man, I'm undefeated, man. I'm feeling good. How you?
I'm great, man. It's great to sit down and chat with you and see you in person. I see you a lot online. I've heard about you a lot from a lot of great people that I have a lot of great respect for. So it's great to actually sit down and chat with you and find out a lot more about what you have going on. So I want to dive right into it and find out about you as an artist. And when did you begin to fall in love with music and know that this world was for you?
I mean, I would always listen to music. Like, my mom was probably the first person to kind of introduce me to like a wide variety of music. The first concert she took me to, I think I might have been like maybe like 10 or something. Like, I'm 5 row back at a 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying concert. Like, that was the first concert I went to. So and then as far as making music, man, I had this teacher, an English teacher, and she made us write this poem. And I wasn't doing too much of nothing in a class. I was just showing up. But I guess it surprised her, with what I came up with. And then she just, she kind of just encouraged me, like, whatever you do, make sure you keep writing something. She was like, because you got a gift. And then from there, what I'm saying, the rest is kind of history. I never really put the pen down after that, so.
We living in different times right now. It's actually great that we are able to sit and chat in person, because about a year ago, really almost 6 months ago, this may not have been an option for us. The pandemic, had our world in a whole different pace.
Facts.
Talk to me about how that impacted you as an artist and how you were able to create during that time.
To be honest, it gave me time to figure out who I was as an artist. People, kind of people wasn't going to work, people weren't moving around as much, so it was easier for me to like get a hold of producers and get a hold of studio time. And so I spent a lot of that 2020 year in the studio. And granted, I didn't really put out any music, but I was really able to just sit down and write and record and figure out what I liked and what I don't like. And what I found out was it's easier to make music as an artist that you actually enjoy listening to, not so much what you think somebody else might like or won't like. But when you making music that you like to listen to, it's easier to write. It's it's easier to record, and you feel. I honestly, I started to feel the music a lot more, when I crossed over into a performance set. So that's kind of how I, got into this rhythm, and now I just been dropping songs in the bag, and now it's time to like really crank them out and start releasing music at a higher rate, because at the end of the day, that's where we at in the industry, where you got to feed the audience, and if you're not feeding them, they gonna go find their food somewhere else.
That's very well said. I like that. If you're not feeding them, the damn sure will find their food somewhere else.
Facts.
You said that you found, that you had to make music pretty much for yourself, music that you enjoy, music that you like to listen to.
Yeah.
So what is that? Is there a particular sound? Is there when you hear 808 beat that, does something different? Or if it's a soul melody that may have a particular sample, does that do something different to you? Or are you one that it doesn't matter? You can bring an array of beats and melodies and it hit your soul depending on the time. How does that work for you?
It's more or less, it's less about the sound of the beat and more about how that particular beat makes me feel. I think samples do it for me quicker than some other type of, beats. But I mean, I don't discriminate. Like, if the beat speak to me, then a lot of times, then we gonna run with it. And when I get something that a beat that I really enjoy, a lot of times the song writes itself, cause I'm just vibing, and the song kind of just writes itself. And so those are the ones that I kind of hold on to and appreciate the most. Those songs that kind of just, you hear it and everything just click. And it's just easy, and it's like, damn, like, why can't every song be like that? But that ain't how the job work.
Talk to me about a typical recording session for you, because everybody has their own thing. Everybody has their own flow. You got folks who they might get in the booth and they need all the red Skittles and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They already be lined up. You got folks in there who they may get in there in an hour at a time and just be debrief and meditation and whatnot. Then they invite folks in to record. What's your formula? Like what gets you going, and what's the formula for a great song for you?
So a lot of my sessions involve like prior preparation, because if you listen to music, a lot of my bars come from a real place. It come from real life experiences, and so when I'm writing, like I really don't do much writing or coming up with songs inside of the studio. And don't get me wrong, I can and I have, but typically I like to write outside the studio in the actual setting outside where I'm actually living life. You know what I'm saying? Because when you in the studio, typically it's dark, ain't no windows, and all you got is them neon lights.
You're in the back cave.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're in the back cave. And so, like, being able to write inside, like, a real outdoor environment and environments that I'm used to, that I'm comfortable in, best suit me. So a lot of times when I come in the studio, like, the hard work is already done. Like, so I'm coming in and I'm really just working on the delivery of the song, the cadence, ad libs, things of that nature. But a lot of times when I come in there, the hard work done. We just knocking them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about your label situation and what you have going on and whatnot, because I know you're rocking with a particular music group, GSO. Talk to me about how that all came into play and some things that you have in store over there.
Yeah, so it's something me and my dog C4 started together. And it just made sense at the time because we were already doing things on our own. We were finding, our own showcases to be in. We were finding our own producers. We was booking our own sessions. We was doing, majority of the things that a label would do. Granted, did we have a budget that a major label has? No, we didn't have it. But we were handling all those same functions. So it just made sense to just go ahead and jump out there and do our own thing. And we created GSO, which stands for Goat Shit Only. And some people might hear that and be like, oh, that's, that's a big statement. But it's not so much saying, oh, I'm the GOAT. It's more of a mentality. So, right? So if you treat everything that you do as if you're trying to be the GOAT, if you prep like Jordan, if you prep like Kobe, then eventually, you might not become the next Jordan, you might not become the next Kobe, but your preparation is gonna get you to where you're trying to, to where you're trying to be. And it don't hurt to lead or to follow, somebody else's greatness. If they formula worked, you ain't got to follow their formula, word by word, minute by minute. But, you take a little bit of their game, take a little bit of somebody else's game, and you add it to yourself. So it's more of a having a GOAT mentality and making sure you approach things in a GOAT-like fashion. And, you'll get GOAT-like results.
I actually love that when you start talking about Kobe, MJ, that mentality. You speaking my language right there. I understand that, and it all is all in preparation. It's all in preparation. So I respect and I love that. That's the main focus that you guys are working on. Now I do know briefly that you're working on a project 800 Degrees, and you decided to modify things just as far as the distribution and different things. But talk to me about why that was the direction in which you were going with in 800 Degrees, and just some of those records in which you have been just slightly tossing out to the people.
So 800 Degrees, I was pretty much produced and recorded during like 2020, during that whole COVID stuff. And so really what I decided to do with that was to drop it off in more singles, in a single form, where we just giving singles with a visual. And the reason for doing that was we wanted to see what the numbers said, right? So we wanted to see what people liked, what they didn't like, and try to really get some feedback instead of just dropping the whole project out there and then trying to decipher, you know what I'm saying, what was hot or what we went wrong or what we did right. We could take our time with each rollout. So not only are we figuring out more of a song or a style of a song, figuring out what the fans and the people like, we also, you know, doing more of a trial run with ourselves, because each time we roll a new single out, we might tweak something. That tweak might not work, it might work, but every time we learn something and we apply it to the next one. And so, I mean, it's a learning phase, and I don't think you really ever stop learning, because it's all about evolving. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, every release we learn something new. So that's kind of what we wanted to nail down, so we can really have a solid foundation going forward.
Now, I can't sit here and chat with you and not find out what's going on with your Braves and whatnot. Me being a native of Philly, I love the Phillies. I've loved the Phillies since I was a little kid, and the Braves just, for so many years, broke my heart. And then living here for some time now, I have a small child. I know you're a father as well. I'm going to get into that. But my kid loves the Braves, so that's kind of one of those heartbreaking moments, like,
Yeah, that's tough.
But y'all, in all honesty, have always been in a winning organization, a great organization. And of course, people can't see the back of your jersey, but you're wearing Acuna Jr., and he's damn sure one of the most talented players, I believe, in sports, but definitely in baseball. Great to see, great to watch. He actually the other night had 2 home runs and broke out the Trey Young celebrations. So it's great to see how he embraces the city, in my opinion. Talk to me about your thoughts on the Braves this year. Kind of a new look with Freddie Freeman being gone, but you're coming off of a World Series. So talk to me about the Braves, and talk to me about what you think about Ronald Acuna Jr. and how he represents the city.
So first off, it was just dope for them to be able to bring that chip to the city last year. We had been hurting for a chip, and granted, we got one in soccer, but you know what I'm saying, that was so new to the city. But so I don't think that was really celebrated like some of the other bigger sports. So for it to happen in baseball, I think that was big. And Acuna actually didn't even, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't even playing in the playoffs. He was hurt. So it's dope to see him back healthy, you know what I'm saying, and doing his thing. And the Freddie Freeman, that shit hurt, because, you know what I'm saying, after winning the chip, you kind of want to, you know what I'm saying, you want the team to do their best to keep the band together, you know what I'm saying, for a repeat. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's business. So, you know what I'm saying, shout out to him. He looked like he out there having fun in L.A. So, yeah, I mean, I love my Braves. It's gonna be a long season. We didn't get off to a good start.
They turning it around.
Yeah, but it's turning around, and I feel like, you know, we saw some of that last year. So, you know what I'm saying, as they bringing in new pieces, and you know, once people, you know, kind of adapt to it, the players adapt to each other, and things like that, I think that cohesiveness, and it started to mesh better, and you know what I'm saying, they get on the right track. So hopefully we can come out with a, you know what I'm saying, above, at the very least above 600, and get in the playoffs and make another run.
What are your thoughts on Acuna? Atlanta has always been known to have some type of superstar, whether you think of Dion, you know, Dion primetime days, you think about Dominique Wilkins, you think about Michael Vick. Now it seems like Atlanta has 2 young stars, and Trey Young with the Hawks, and then of course Ronald Acuna Jr. What are your thoughts on Ronald Acuna Jr. and again how he represents the city of Atlanta?
I mean, I like his confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because our city is about. I don't want to use the word swag, but it's a lot about, you know what I'm saying, kind of how you carry yourself. And in our city, you don't necessarily have to look a certain way, but you have to carry yourself a certain way.
What you mean?
And he, you know what I'm saying, he's the definition of the city. And granted, he might not be from here, but neither is Trey Young, but it's the way they carry themselves. And so they represent the city well. And so, yeah, much love to Acuna. Yeah, for real.
Back on the music side of things, I know you've mentioned to me about being a student of your craft, and you're always working. Your mind is always going. Yeah. You're always looking on ways to improve on what you're doing. So, without giving away too much of the sauce and too much of what you got going on, what do you have going on? What are you currently working on a day-to-day basis in the music world?
Just getting out the rest of 800 Degrees. For real, that's probably the biggest priority from a release standpoint. But in between that, man, I'm always writing. I'm always recording. It's just about making sure the production matches the destination that I'm trying to get to, right? Because, you know what I'm saying, you can have the best bars in the world, but if your production ain't right, if your marketing ain't right, if, you know what I'm saying, the presentation ain't right, like, you know what I'm saying, that all them bars that you came up with could fall flat on their face, and they won't mean shit. So, getting those small things right are probably my biggest focus. But yeah, just staying steady, and trying to work on my craft and get better at what it is I do. Each day, constantly evolving, one day at a time. So, and not taking any advice or anything I come across for granted, right? Even if it's a mistake, right? We learn from that shit and we keep moving. And we, you apply whatever you learn, whether it's some game that somebody gave you or it's some, something you messed up and you gotta figure out how to fix it. Learning it and make sure you apply it going forward. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I can't wait, man. We got I actually got a track coming that I did with a homie from LA, Chris O'Bannon, that I think is gonna do numbers. We actually just went out and shot a video out in DR.
That's all right.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a good look. I don't want to, spill too much of the sauce and give you too much, but I think it's gonna be a big wave, and it's gonna kind of open the door for me to do some other type of music and kind of get involved with some different type of music makers. Yeah, for sure.
Two-part question to an extent. Who are some of the producers in which you've already had an opportunity to work with? And as your career continues to grow and take off, who would maybe be 2 or 3, I'll say maybe dream producers or producers that you feel like your sound and your talent would mesh well and you would like to work with in the future?
So shout out to Fo EVA. He's probably been the most consistent producer that I've worked with. Okay. He's also based out of Atlanta. So we got he actually is an artist as well. So we, we got two singles out together, and then we got plenty of tracks that, I have plenty of tracks that he produced. So that's a big part, and he actually produced or had a hand in producing almost every song that's attached to 800 Degrees. Okay. So shout out to Fo EVA. Going forward, like if I could work with anybody production-wise, I think Timbaland would be the biggest one. And next I would have to go with Kanye. And if you're an artist and Kanye not on your list, it's almost like where you been for the last 20 years or so. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can say whatever you want about him from a personal, level, but from an artist, perspective, like, it's timeless. Yeah, he's best of the best. So yeah, thanks.
I mentioned briefly ago about fatherhood, and you are a father, and that's dope to see. And I can also tell you're an involved father. You're just not someone that's carrying the title of a father or a dad. Talk to me about how being a father, being a dad impacts your music and impacts your sound as well.
So I have to. It's crazy because I actually mention my kids and like my bars. I don't shy away from talking about real life shit, because it's real life, which means that it's probably somebody else on the other end of that microphone or the other end of that speaker that's going through some similar things that probably need to hear what I'm going through in order to get through their day. So I don't shy away from that. And my son is actually 5 now, so he's getting to the point where like he's real and impressionable. So I try to make sure I keep him close and try to, show him things that I feel like he need to know. Like, like managing money and, even how to dribble a basketball, like small things. It's small moments like that I feel like I need to be there for when he asks those questions. Because kids ask questions whenever the question pop in their mind. And if you ain't around to answer the question the right way, ain't no telling who gonna answer that question for him. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing for me, just being there.
as we continue to move into 2022, summertime is right around the corner. It seems like it's getting hotter and hotter every day around here. Damn sure in Atlanta, you know, we've seen a lot recently, unfortunately, of lives lost. That's something that we see far too much in our hip hop community and things of that nature. What are your thoughts on kind of like the current state of where we are in the hip hop world, especially here in our Atlanta hip hop world? You know, we got things going on with Thug and Gunna, and we wish the best for them. Won't speak on what we don't know on as far as the case is concerned. Recently, you know, the life of Trouble, him losing his life. You know, prayers to everybody involved in that situation.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just, I mean, it's something we've seen over time throughout years in our hip hop community. So, what are your thoughts on where we currently stand here in the Atlanta hip hop community?
Well, to your point, I mean, it's kind of constant in terms of, you know, it happening within our culture. Like it's been one of those, you know, consistent events that just, you know, it happens. And some of it is, you know, brought on, you know, by ourselves or by our past. And some of it is, you know, just, you know, being, you know, kind of forced on us. So, I mean, it's fucked up, but it's the way. I don't want to say it's the way that it's the way that it is, but it's not the way that it's got to be, right? So I think it's more or less about what you put into your music, right? So, you know, if you talk about, or if you rapping and it's negativity, you know what I'm saying? Every bar is negative, then you're gonna get some type of negative result, you know, depending on what you're talking about, right? And so that's kind of, you know, how the spiel goes. Like, so I try to put as much positivity in it, even when I'm talking about things that you're talking about, you know, drugs or violence or whatever the case may be. If you're talking about experiences, it's important to kind of show both sides to what that, you know what I'm saying, what that looks like, right? So we can glorify, you know what I'm saying, you know, money, drugs, and sex and all that other stuff, and that's fine, right? Because there are obviously there's some good things to doing it, otherwise people wouldn't be talking about it. But, you know, there's also a negative side to it, so it's important to, you know what I'm saying, just do your due diligence and show both sides, and then let the listener decide, you know, whether or not, you know, that's something they want to do, right? Because a lot of the listeners are young, impressionable people. So show them both sides, right? Don't just show them the positives of doing, you know, whatever it is that you're talking about. Show them the negative side too, and then let them figure out if that's something that they want to, you know, a step that they want to take.
As we do continue to move into 2022, what else can we expect from you and your artistry? What are some things that you have in store that you can let out the bag?
So next month we're gonna try to drop off 2 more singles off of 800 Degrees. And some visuals for a song we got coming out called Gravy. And then another song called SOS. So we're gonna try to drop both of them off next month. And then hopefully we can get the song I mentioned earlier with Chris O'Bannon out before the summer ends, because it's got a real summer-like vibe. So we'll see, but definitely those first 2 tracks, the SOS and the Gravy, you'll definitely get those in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
For our audience who want to immediately check out, you know, what you have going on, please let them know how they can follow you via social media, how they can check out your music via streaming platforms, YouTube, or just however they can connect with you.
It's Lokeyx, Lokeyx, all platforms. You know, go touch that Spotify. I put together some dope playlists on there. You know, I'm on Apple Music, every platform. Wherever you listen to your music at is Lokeyx, Lokeyx. Come holler at me on Instagram. I respond to everything. You know what I'm saying? You got love to show. You know what I'm saying? I'll be sure to show it back. If you got some hate in your blood, you know what I'm saying? We can come talk about that too. Whatever you want to do. But yeah.
Terrell Thomas, TheseUrbanTimes. Once again, we appreciate Lokeyx for sitting down with us, pulling up a chair today. Stay tuned. We'll be bringing a lot more from this gentleman. We're going to hop in the studio with you, catch you doing your thing or something like that when you're in the stew, and you know, really give our audience a behind-the-scene look. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming up. Peace and blessings.
Yes, sir.